Michael Bakache here with the Man Hour. Be sure to over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. Good things are popping on both things. Check it out, check it out, check it out. We got a great fortune, you guys, on today. Here on Thursday edition, we got a little bit of if and then a little bit of then. We got if and then statements Thursday. We're going to talk about Steve Spagnuolo's new deal. My man got a new deal. What is going on? And then, of course, Joe Burrow back from injury. Steve Wilkes fired. Mr. Trubisky, the Ravens, and the Cincinnati Bengals. We got to talk about them. But welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. If you guys have not done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe to whatever platform you are listening to us on. This is live, and this is Raw. This is uncut NFL sports talk. Guys, head over to manhourradio.com. Sorry, manhourradio.com, manhour.co, NFLtoday.com. Also, become a pigskin pundit. Click on the link in the description below. Join us. We got after hours show. We got film breakdown. We got a bunch of stuff happening over the Pigskin Pundits. This is a live interactive show, so comments are definitely encouraged. Talk your stuff in the comments below, but be ready to defend yourself because this is live, this is raw, and this is uncut NFL talk. So let's go ahead and jump into the comments here. Let's welcome some of the people into the chat. We got my man Arthur Brown in the chat. He says, good morning, Man Hour Nation. Good morning to you, Arthur Brown. Good morning to you, good sir. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. But guys, let's get into this. Let's get into what happened yesterday at the old Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Let's get into what went down. As you guys know by now, there was a shooting at the Kansas City parade. At the victory parade, there was a shooting. One person is confirmed dead. Multiple people injured. I've heard anywhere from 8 to 22 people have been injured. I don't know if that was from the shooting or from trampling or like whatever, right? But there's been at least 8 to 22 people injured when this shooting did occur. 2 people are in custody from the shooting, but I don't really want to dive into that. I want to dive into the fact that many people in our trash talk groups are making fun of said situation. Our AFC West group in general is probably one of the most toxic fan bases out there. Let's just be flat and honest. You guys are all very, very toxic, and people are out there making fun of the person that got killed at the parade. Oh, these Queese fans, you can't trust them to take them anywhere. Guys, I am all about talking of the shit. I am all about having a good time. I am all about repping your team to the fullest and hating the Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, whoever they are, Miami Dolphins. But why would you make fun of people that got injured? Why would you make fun of people that lost their lives in that particular thing? What in your right mind gives you the audacity to even think like that is okay? I've gotten at least 10 people in my inbox saying, I'm leaving your group because of this. To people that are out there that are leaving the group, I'm like, I am sorry. I try to regulate that particular thing. Anything that I saw negative, I try to take it down. But obviously, there's like 6,000 people in that group. It is very, very hard to regulate everything. But with that being said, guys, just stop it. It is stupid at the end of the day. It is so freaking stupid. Stop making fun of people that lost their lives, they got injured. Talk all the shit all you want about the Kansas City Chiefs on the field. Talk all the shit yet you want about the Raiders on the on the field. But don't talk about people getting hurt. That's just plain stupid. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is time for a little bit of if and a little bit of then here on this Thursday edition of manhourradio.com, powered by NFLtoday.co. The website will be live next week, guys. So if you guys want some stats, you want some wins, you want some losses, you want a good time, NFLtoday.co is where all the magic is happening as of lately. Got Caroline in the chat. What is up, Caroline? She says, I am praying for Kansas City and all the victims. As we should. Tragedy sucks, but there are bad people out there. You know, when we had the church shooting in Houston, right? Just on Super Bowl Sunday as well. So there are a lot of bad people out there. So guys, just ELE. Everybody love everybody. At the end of the day, we got my man Wayne G in the chat, and he says it's basic human philosophy. It's easier to get your jollies in hurting others than it is to do something positive. Wayne G, you are the smartest man that I think I know, and you are absolutely 100% correct. It is easier to prey on somebody's downfall than to lift them up, right? It just, like, I see it. We all like we all see it at the end of the day, but I don't know what to say at this particular point in time. But guys, let's go ahead and get into today's show. One more thing, we got David in the chat as well. What is up, David? He says Chargers in the house, and he is praying for Kansas City as well. As guys, my sisters and some of her friends were all at the parade, and they're all okay. And they said it was the most like, what the hell situation ever, right? Just like, it was like a car wreck, right? Like, yes, you know it's bad, but you just kept on looking, and you kept on looking, and you kept on looking, and you couldn't do anything. Like, you're just kind of like stunned. You're like, what do I do? But let's not worry about that anymore, guys. Let's get into some title topic of today's show, and that is Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo did get a contract extension Wednesday for the Kansas City Chiefs to obviously keep him as a defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Some stats about Steve Spagnuolo here. He has been a head coach back in 2008. He was the head coach of the St. Louis Rams. He went 1-15 his first season. Ouch. Then he went 7-9 his second season, and then he digressed in his third season and went 2-14. He was ultimately fired. He has been some type of defensive assistant coach since 1999. He started with the Philadelphia Eagles. He did return in 2015 as a defensive coordinator to the Giants. He was named their intern head coach, went 1-3 as an intern head coach in 2017, and he has 4 Super Bowls calling the defense, most by any defensive coordinator. 2007 was his first Super Bowl victory when the New York Giants did play Tom Brady. They sacked him 5 times. That's still the most ever Tom Brady has been sacked. So when I got to looking at this situation here, we have not heard Steve Spagnuolo with any head coaching rumors in the last couple seasons. This season, the Kansas City Chiefs defense was second in points allowed, second in yards allowed. Hands down the best defense they've had in a very, very long time. Oh, by the way, they did not give up 30 points to any NFL team this season. And then they did play a pretty stout schedule. They did play the Buffalo Bills. They did play the Ravens. They did play the San Francisco 49ers, the high-flying Miami Dolphins, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Not one team scored over 30 points on them this season. That defense was stout. That defense was amazing. So I got to thinking, why has Steve Spagnuolo not been rumored to any head coaching vacancies at all? We see defensive coordinators have success. Dan Quinn, last couple seasons, been a hot candidate to become a head coach again, right? He had a shit show in Atlanta. It is what it is, but he is now the head coach of the Washington Commanders. Ben McAdoo, not a very good head coach, right? He's still intertwined with this offensive coordinator or head coaching situations. So I got to ask the question, guys, why is Steve Spagnuolo not been linked to any head coaching opportunities? Is it because he is he was 10-30 for the Rams head coach, 1-3 as a Giants head coach, intern head coach, I should say, when they were doing a complete makeover in New York. Let's not get that twisted. But why is he not linked to any head coaching opportunities? His defense is great. He has a 4-3 defense with the heavy blitz packages. He lives and dies by the sword. Come on, people, give my man some credit. Give him credit where credit is due. Guys, do you think Steve Spagnuolo should be be a head coach somewhere in the NFL? Obviously, all the 8 head coaching vacancies are now full, but maybe next year. Maybe next year. Alex Avery is in the chat. He says, Chiefs Kingdom Memes. Chiefs Kingdom Memes was running a fundraiser, $22 for Children's Mercy's victims. Okay. We will definitely spread the word out there. Alex Avery, give me some information. We'll see what Man Hour can do for that particular cause. Wayne G says, could be a personality thing. Why is the greatest coach in history still without a job? I think Bill Belichick, Wayne G, is without a job because he wants too much control. Bill Belichick thought he could cherry pick where he wanted to go. I believe after they mutually agreed to part ways from New England, he basically said that I want to go to a team that has all the talent but was just underachieving. Many people were speculating the Buffalo Bills, the Atlanta Falcons, potentially the Dallas Cowboys, but I believe he only interviewed for the Atlanta Falcons. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but he didn't really go out and actively seek positions. So is it a personality thing or is it just an age thing? Is it just a you know what? Bill Belichick has had the success. He's 70 plus years old. Do you want to bring a old head? Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick. You can put Mike Vrabel into that mix. He's kind of that old head personality. Do you want to bring those old heads into a young team that has a good nucleus? No. There's a reason why teams, organizations are going after a hot, fresh, young coordinator because they can work with new players. This generation of players, Wayne G, we actually had this conversation kind of on your show last night. Everybody gets a medal, right? These kids nowadays, these adults, these NFL players have got to be coddled. They got to be, hey, you're doing a good job, man. It's okay that you dropped that game-winning pass. It's okay that you did this. We live in the world that you have to be coddled a little bit, and it's kind of irritating for us old heads. I'm an old head. I am 3 yards in a cloud of dust on my offensive plays. Give me a nice, strong running back, and I'm going to pull the guard, kick out the defensive end, and run up the middle, and I want 3 yards. That's all I want. It is tough. It's hard out here for a pimp. Alex Avery says Spags should be a head coach. Should he, though? I mean, there are many people that should be a head coach. Right? Dan Quinn should be a head coach. Kellen Moore probably should be a head coach. Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach. But Is it personality? Or maybe, just maybe, he's happy being the defensive coordinator. Maybe, just maybe, he is happy winning 3 Super Bowls in 5 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe, just maybe, he is happy having one of the best young defenses in the NFL. Maybe, just maybe, he doesn't want to go through the headache like he did in St. Louis. Maybe, just maybe, he doesn't want to go through the headache like he did in New York as an intern head coach. Some people are just meant to be coordinators. Some people thrive in that coordinator role. Dan Quinn, I think he thrived as a defensive coordinator in Dallas and Seattle. Head coach, not so much. We'll see how he does in Washington, see if he can turn things around. But personality has a lot to do with it. I think Wayne G nailed it on that one. Personality has a lot to do with it. But David says, if Spag wants to be a head coach in his future, he's more than qualified. David is speaking from experience. They have a head coach, or they used to have a head coach in LA that did not have the qualifications to be a head coach, but he was a head coach for 3 or 4 years for the Chargers. That man was horrible. Brandon Staley, he was a horrible head coach. But I do think Spags is, honestly, if we want to go out on that limb, I think every coach probably in the NFL, whether it's a position coach, whether it's a senior assistant analyst coach, or whatever you want to refer to them as, they're all more than qualified to be a head coach. I think it's just the desire. Do you have the desire to be a head coach? Me personally, I've always had the desire to be a head coach. I want to be the man in charge. I want to be the person that calls the shots. I did not thrive very well in a coordinator position because I was consistently challenging the leadership. I was consistently challenging, like, hey, this is not stupid. Like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? This 3-3 defense does not work. There's a reason why we haven't won a playoff game in 5 years. You know? The minute we change the defense, bada bing, bada boom, semi-state. Like, come on. But, sorry. sorry. My bad. Roll it back. Jim says the greatest coach in history coaches the Chiefs right now. It changed when Brady won without him and never the other way around. Wow. Let me ask you this question, Wayne G. You are an ex-Patriots fan. David, John, Jim, you guys are all old heads out there. Did Bill Belichick tarnish his greatest coach of all time, a top coach thing of all time, by not having success without Tom Brady? Yes, they did go to the playoffs the first year after Tom Brady with Mac Jones got blown out by the Buffalo Bills in the first round, right? That was the year they were supposed to fail. That was the year they were supposed to get the first overall pick. That was the year they had Cam Newton at quarterback that didn't know the offensive playbook. He got them to the playoffs. And we're like, oh, okay. Then the next year, we expected the Patriots to be contenders in the East. We expected the Patriots to make a playoff run. Nope. Outside looking in. I don't know. Did he ruin it? Maybe. Alex Avery says, yep, there's a lot that he should be. I agree. He's happy of being where he is at. Sometimes people are just happy, you know? Like, in my position at work, I am happy where I'm at. I make a good living. I enjoy my hours. I enjoy my coworkers for the most part. I have a good leadership in front of me. I have no desire to step up to that next ladder step. I'm happy. I'm content. mean, many people live by the foundation of proud, never satisfied. Can you be proud and satisfied? Can Steve Spagnuolo be proud of what he's built in Kansas City and be satisfied with it? Come on. Wayne G says, Monty Kiffin, a perfect example of a career coordinator. Monty Kiffin is Lane Kiffin's daddy, if I'm not mistaken. He was a coordinator for the Saints? Was it Saints? I don't know. But yeah, there are some people that are out there like Wayne G. Nailed it. That is perfect as a coordinator. Alex Avery asked the question, do you think we get Eric Bieniemy back next season? So we spoke on this during Super Bowl week. Eric Bieniemy was out there with the Kansas City Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes, with Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. They were having dinner. They were having conversations. I would not put it past the Kansas City Chiefs of bringing back Eric Bieniemy as some type of passing game coordinator, running game coordinator, something to that effect, something that, kind of puts him on this like on the staff and a very easy insert role if Matt Nagy fails. Now, if the Kansas City Chiefs were to have lost that Super Bowl, the offense struggled pretty much all season long. You can blame it on the drops. You can blame it on Patrick Mahomes maybe having a down year. Travis Kelce maybe showing his age. But the truth of the matter is that they didn't have that good cop, bad cop situation in Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid. Matt Nagy is a player's coach. Andy Reid is a player's coach. So I think by default you have to bring Matt Nagy back, but you bring Eric Bieniemy on as some type of senior advisor. So when Matt Nagy fails next season, say the offense just looks shitty for the first 8 weeks of the year, you're gone, right? So I do think they bring back Eric Bieniemy. Wayne G says, Bill did not tarnish anything. There aren't any great coaches without great quarterbacks. How did Reid do without McNabb? Did Michael Vick and what was the other white boy's quarterback's name? Was it Cup? Did they make it to the NFC Championship? I think they won a division once or twice. But for the most part, yeah. I mean, Wayne G nailed it. I think you have to have a great quarterback, or at least a competent quarterback. You have to have a quarterback that has all the intangibles there. Then you can bring those intangibles in, tie them together, and then you can have some type of success. Yes, I think you are 100% correct on that. Jim says Reid is the winningest coach in two franchises. Sorry, let me repeat that. Jim Powell says Reid is the winningest coach for two franchises with much success. Very, very true. Also got John Peoples in the chat. What's up, John? Good morning. And then he says, on the other side of that coin, there can be Mahomes without Reid or Kelce. He says, can there be a Patrick Mahomes without Reid or Kelce? We've gone back and forth on this debate many times, because Brandon Combs, I should say, not we, Combs, ridiculed the Chicago Bears for not taking Patrick Mahomes at the number 2 overall pick, or actually trading up when they got Mitchell Trubisky. They did not take Deshaun Watson. They did not take Patrick Mahomes. Ridiculed them, right? Oh, you guys are stupid. How could you do this? Whatever, yada, yada, yada. Let's just be honest. Patrick Mahomes' tape in college was average. Was very, very suspect at best. He did have a big, strong arm, but he had a Brett Favre mentality without the Brett Favre IQ, maybe you can say. I think Andy Reid made Patrick Mahomes. They both landed in a perfect situation. If you put Patrick Mahomes on the Chicago Bears, we are probably seeing him bounce around the league. Let's just be honest. You put Patrick Mahomes on the Cleveland Browns, he's probably out doing cocaine off of hookers' asses, right? It is the perfect situation. Perfect situation for both parties. But guys, let's get into a little bit of if and then. If and then is very, very, very simple. We put out a statement. If this person does this, then what? Guys, this is a interactive show, so play along. We got 3 of them today, and let's start off with that quarterback that we just spoke about. Let's talk about that quarterback that we did just speak on. That is Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky has been linked to the Baltimore Ravens after being mutually parted ways with the Pittsburgh Steelers earlier this week. Many people are saying that the Ravens are going to sign Mitchell Trubisky as a backup quarterback. Then I got to thinking, why would you do that? Why would you sign Mitchell Trubisky? So we got to ask the question. Let's ask it right now. If the Baltimore Ravens sign Mitchell Trubisky, then what? If the Baltimore Ravens sign Mitchell Trubisky, they are reaching for straws at this particular point. When we look at Mitchell Trubisky's history in the NFL, he was drafted 2nd overall in 2017 from University of North Carolina. Had a very good senior year, definitely catapulted him up. The Bears actually traded up to get Mitchell Trubisky. His first year as a Bears quarterback, he played 12 games, had 59% completion percentage for 2,100 yards. 2018, his second year, 14 games played, 66.6% completion percentage. I had to say that because it's just fun. 666 with 3,223 yards. Year 3, 63%, 3,100 yards. 2020, year 4, 2,000 yards, only 10 games played. He did lead to the Bears to the playoffs twice. However, after the 2020 season, they drafted Justin Fields, sent Mitchell Trubisky to the Buffalo Bills to back up Josh Allen. He did appear in 6 games. He did have 8 pass attempts with 75% completion rate for 43 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. After that season, 2022, he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers to back up Kenny Pickett. Appeared in 7 games, threw for 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. In 2023, he was a backup. Actually started 2 or 3 games and got benched for Mason Rudolph. He did throw for 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 632 yards. So when we look at this and we think about this, the Baltimore Ravens are completely stupid for wanting to try to sign Mitchell Trubisky. It is the dumbest thing that I could possibly think of that the Baltimore Ravens can do right now. Because let's look at their backup quarterbacks right now. Their backup quarterbacks are Huntley. Tyler Huntley. Very, very much like Lamar Jackson. Actually, was it 2 years ago when Lamar Jackson missed the final 6-7 games of the season? I thought Tyler Huntley looked better for the Baltimore Ravens than Lamar Jackson did at that particular time. They also have Malik Cunningham as a backup quarterback. They also have Josh Johnson as a backup quarterback. What in God's green gracious do you think Mitchell Trubisky lines up with those guys at all? Malik Cunningham played receiver for the Patriots a few games, was a quarterback. He is a very much of a scrambling, throw second type of quarterback. Josh Johnson, don't know much about him. All I know is he gets knocked out in the biggest game for the 49ers, but he is a scrambling quarterback as well. Tyler Huntley does like to stay in the pocket a little bit, but has the ability to run very, very, very fast. Lamar Jackson wants to be a pocket quarterback, can be a very, very good pocket quarterback, but what does he thrive on? Extending the play and scrambling. What does Mitchell Trubisky not do? He does not scramble. He does not extend plays. Mitchell Trubisky is a pocket quarterback. This is a complete yin and yang to what the Baltimore Ravens are trying to do. If the Baltimore Ravens sign Mitchell Trubisky as a backup, they are doomed. They are doomed. Because Lamar Jackson is going to go down at some point in this season. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. Durability is the issue in Lamar Jackson. This year he did play a full season. Yes, we'll give him that. But if you were to put Mitchell Trubisky in, it's a brand new offensive scheme. It's a brand new offensive scheme. At least with Tyler Huntley, at least with Malik Cunningham, at least with Josh Johnson, you can still call the same plays and it kind of somewhat get the same results. With Mitchell Trubisky, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Let's jump over here in the comments and see what people have to say. Alex Avery said he had one good year at the Bears. He went 12-4. I actually think he had 2 good years at the Bears. He actually led them to a playoff victory. Was it over the Saints? Was it the Saints? Can't remember. Either way, he had 2 playoff appearances in 4 years. Not too bad. Jim Powell says if the Ravens sign Mitchell Trubisky, then Herbert has room to be traded to Pittsburgh to make room for JJ in LA. Are you referring to Justin Jefferson? Going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL? Are we referring to that? JJ? I was not thinking LA. I was thinking Vegas. So JJ. I'm not for sure who JJ is. Alex Avery says Huntley is much better than Mitchell Trubisky. He is. Oh, JJ McCarty. Huntley is a very equitable backup quarterback. This year was the year of the backup quarterbacks. Like, wasn't only like 5 teams that had their quarterback start all 17 games? Because Brock Purdy got hurt. He missed a game, did he not? Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, 5 seconds of a fame in New York. But yeah, backup quarterbacks are very, very valuable. J.J. McCarty says, pal. He says, get Justin Herbert to Pittsburgh. Bring in J.J. McCarty to the Chargers. Reunite with your head coach. And be 4-12. 13, whatever it is. I don't want to dog on David's team too much, but the Chargers better figure themselves out real quick. Speaking of figuring themselves out real quick, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have 2 top 10 draft picks in the 2024 NFL draft. However, everything is pointing that they are trading Justin Fields. Whether it's to the Steelers, whether it's to the Falcons, whether it's to the Houston Texans, it doesn't matter. They think he is out of town. But what if this doesn't happen? What if Chicago is sold on Justin Fields? What if the Chicago Bears want to build around Justin Fields and bring in some quality offensive linemen, bring in some wide receivers, maybe bring in some quarterback help? So we got to ask the question. If the Chicago Bears do not trade Justin Fields, then what? If the Bears do not trade Justin Fields, there is going to be a lot of doors knocking for that number 1 overall pick. Hell, then maybe even the number 9 overall pick. There are teams out there that are drafting 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 that are potentially looking for quarterbacks. Las Vegas Raiders picking at number 13, probably looking for a quarterback. Denver Broncos, probably looking for a quarterback. Minnesota Vikings, looking to draft a quarterback of the future. You could put the Giants in there. You could put the Chargers in there. Hell, you could probably put the Cardinals in there as well. Scroll more down the depth chart here. We have Seattle Seahawks possibly looking for a quarterback. The Rams could be looking for a quarterback of the future. Pittsburgh Steelers are obviously looking for a quarterback. If the Chicago Bears do not trade Justin Fields, then there is going to be a lot of phone calls to Chicago Bears to get the number 1 overall pick. There is going to be a lot of phone calls from the Patriots, from the Cardinals, from the Giants, from the Titans, from the Falcons, Broncos, Raiders. They want that number 1 overall pick. They want that man, Caleb Williams. Guys, if the Bears do not trade Justin Fields, they have an opportunity to make the biggest splash in this year's draft. They have the opportunity to be the Houston Texans of 2023, meaning draft CJ Stroud, draft Williams, number 2 and number 3 overall, make a nice little playoff run, and have an opportunity to make a Super Bowl. The Chicago Bears were right there last season. Many people said that they were a playoff caliber team. They would have got hot just a few games earlier. They could have beat the Dallas Cowboys in the first round. They could have beat the Buccaneers. They could have beat the Eagles. It doesn't matter. They would have won a first-round game. They could have possibly even beat the Detroit Lions. If the Chicago Bears do not trade Justin Fields, this is the smartest move that they could possibly make. Let's just be honest. Chicago Bears fans, I understand you do not like Justin Fields. You think Justin Fields is a problem. You think Caleb Williams is the next coming of Andrew Luck, John Elway. I get it. I've heard it. Wayne G on his show. They're talking him up. Best draft prospect since Trevor Lawrence, right? We get it. But if you don't trade Justin Fields, you have a great opportunity to make a really, really big splash. Marvin Harrison Jr., possibly some other receivers out there, the guy from LSU. There's opportunities to make a really, really big splash. See what the people are saying here in the chat. John People says they are sold on Caleb and Justin's going to Denver. Wilson is going to Pittsburgh. Listen, the Denver Broncos are not going to find a trade suitor for Russell Wilson. No way, no how are they going to find a trade suitor for Russell Wilson. Well, he's like an $80 million cap hit. You're going to have to pay the man like $50 million plus give up some draft capital to get him. Why would you do that when there's other quarterbacks out there? When you can draft a Caleb Williams, when you can draft a Michael Penix Jr., a Bo Nix, the quarterback from LSU, Daniels, right? No way nobody is making a trade for Russell Wilson. Now, if the Denver Broncos cut Russell Wilson, I could see him going to Pittsburgh. I could possibly see the Chicago Bears making a play to pick him up and trading Justin Fields in the process. But they're not going to trade for him. There is no trade suitors for Russell Wilson in the Denver Broncos. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. John Switzer's in the chat. He said the Chiefs O-line has had zero holding penalties in 3 straight Super Bowls. Odd. If you want to talk about that, let's talk about the illegal lineman downfield for the San Francisco 49ers that wasn't called. Let's call about the holding call on Travis Kelce that wasn't called on like on the defensive side of the ball. John, don't try to make something out of nothing. In the last 3 Super Bowls, held the last 3 years of championship games and Super Bowls combined, I've seen very, very few flags. They've been letting the people play. Now, if it's blatantly obvious, when McDuffie pretty much tackled Brandon Ayuk and spun him around, defensive holding, correct call. But for the most part, they're letting them play. So, if you want to go that route, did the 49ers have any holding calls in the Super Bowl? Did he? I don't think so. No, I take that back. Trent Williams had a false start and then a holding call the very next play. And that was because it was blatantly obvious. Brock Purdy scrambled the pocket, rolled left, and Trent Williams happened to have his hand on the outside. And Chanel tried to go to the right, and he couldn't go because he was held. Right? Come on, John. Come on, man. Come on. Guys, do you think that Justin Fields does get traded from the Chicago Bears? Do you think Justin Fields ends up in Atlanta, in Pittsburgh, Have there been other teams rumored out there? I think Falcons and the Steelers have been kind of the front runners for Justin Fields. It is what it is. John says, you can talk about one play or two plays in the recent Super Bowl, but zero Chief O-line holding calls in 3 different Super Bowls. LMAO, come on. I told you, John. In the championship games and the Super Bowl, the referees let them play. Unless it's blatantly obvious, they let them play. Don't get it twisted. There's holding every single play. There is holding every single play. But I feel the referees in the Super Bowl and the championship games, if it's not blatantly obvious or blatantly affecting the play, they're not going to call it. I like it. John says, we already have a project quarterback in Pittsburgh named Kenny Pickett. We aren't picking up another project in Justin Fields. Is Justin Fields a project, though? I feel that Justin Fields kind of has all the intangibles there. I kind of feel Justin Fields just needs an opportunity to be able to showcase his skills. Time, more or less. A competent organization. A competent offensive coordinator. It is what it is. Moving on. The final if or then of the day here, guys, is going to go over to Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati, Ohio. Obviously, the Bengals had a season that they like to forget in 2023. They had a lot of key injuries that pretty much derailed what they were trying to do, a.k.a. make it to the Super Bowl. Many people, including Coffee, Combs, Wayne G., most of the people in the chat, think it was because of Joe Burrow's injury. The reason why the Bengals did not do very well was because of Joe Burrow's injury. So let me ask you this question. If the Bengals have repeat success like they did in 2023, meaning not very good, in 2024 NFL season, then what? When we look at the Cincinnati Bengals, they are a Super Bowl caliber team. However, money is going to be the ultimate factor whether they make the Super Bowl or not. Joe Burrow taking a pay cut, restructuring his deal. T. Higgins just wanting to be a part of the team and not going somewhere else like the Titans or the Cowboys or the Chiefs. Ultimately, what it's going to come down to is how selflessness is the Cincinnati Bengals players. Jamar Chase, Mixon, T. Higgins, Boyd, the rest of that offensive line, the defense. How selfless are they going to be? Is it going to be all about them, or is it all going to be about the team? But if the Cincinnati Bengals fail in 2024 like they did in 2023, then it is because of Joe Burrow. It's because of Joe Burrow. We talk about availability is the best ability. And has Joe Burrow played a full NFL season? We dog Lamar Jackson for being injury prone. We dog Josh Allen for being injury prone, right? Tua, whoever. But Joe Burrow has not played a full NFL season in his career. He got his bag. He got paid. The man got paid and got laid. But at the end of the day, he is kind of a flash in the pan. 2021, his breakout year, played 16 games, 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. 2022, 4,400 yards, 35 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Excuse me. 2023, last year, only 10 games, 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He was injured all season long in that game. He's entering his 5th year. He's getting those Benjamins. Not next year, but next year, 2021 and 24, he's only a $29 million cap hit. But 2025, 2026, 2027, $46 million, $48 million, $52 million. Guys, if the Bengals are not successful in 2024, it is because of Joe Burrow. That's what it comes down to. It's because Joe Burrow shit the bed. It's because Joe Burrow got paid too early, much like Jalen Hurts. I understand why these teams are paying these quarterbacks the way they are. Pay them early because if he performs, he's just going to want more money, and the next paid quarterback is always the next highest paid quarterback, right? Started with Patrick Mahomes, right? $39 million a year average, or $40 million a year average, whatever it was. Next year, Josh Allen. Next year, Jalen Hurts. Then Joe Burrow. Then Lamar Jackson got his. Like, I get it. But it is what it is. David says, 49ers missed that extra point is probably what cost them the game. Not holding calls. If we want to flash back to the Super Bowl, the extra point was definitely a momentum shift toward the Kansas City Chiefs because now they don't have to score a touchdown. Now they can score a field goal to tie the game. But the biggest costly penalty of the 49ers in the Super Bowl was the muff punt. The muff punt was what cost the 49ers the Super Bowl. It is what it is. But guys, it is about that time. It's about that time. Let's get into Mike's thoughts.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
As we end today's show, the new format of Man Hour, we have to dive deep into some NFL mock drafts. Many people put out mock drafts. There's actually a whole website dedicated to building a 7-round mock draft. My man Wayne G just put out his first 7-round 1.0 mock draft. Obviously, Mel Kiper Jr. and all those guys put out mock drafts. However, mock drafts, guys, are just for fun. Mock drafts are simply just for fun. A NFL scout is not looking at Merrill Hodges, analysis of said player. Kansas City Chiefs are not looking at Wayne G's mock draft. The LA Chargers are not looking at Mel Kiper Jr.'s mock draft and evaluation of players. They're not. They paid their scouting department way too much money to be worried about some TV analyst mock drafts. Now, some of these so-called mock draft experts, we use experts very, very loosely here because what exactly is an expert? What it comes down to is these experts get things wrong more than they get right. Wayne G on his NFL expert show last night brought up Merrill Hodge. Merrill Hodge has nailed some players. Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Johnny Manziel, Jadeveon Clowney. He has nailed some players about their efforts, about their bust, about their not draft ability. But all those 5, 6, 7 players that he got right, he got hundreds of them else wrong. Mel Kiper Jr. goes out on the limb and says, duh, and consistently gets it wrong. So guys, NFL mock drafts are all fun. They're all games. But don't try to base everything off of a mock draft that Mel Kiper Jr. said, that Wayne G said, that Wyatt Williams said. They are fun. They're fun to talk about. It's fun to speculate. But at the end of the day, it's just a mock draft. It's make-believe. Make-believe. Guys, that is going to be it for today's show. If you guys have not done so already, become a Pigskin Pundit. Starting next week, we got the after show coming back, not after hours, after show. So after this live show is here done, we'll be diving deeper into the NFL. We'll be talking about specific teams. Whatever team you want to talk about, we'll talk about news. We'll break down some film. We'll shoot the shit. We'll have a grand old time. But you have to be a pigskin pundit to join a members only after show. Obviously. You're going to get film breakdown. You're going to get some merch. You are going to get team breakdowns. All you got to do is click that link and become a supporter. And bada bing, bada boom, you are in. But tomorrow's show, guys, we're going to talk more about Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks has been fired from the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to dive deeply into why that happened. Free agency is a real thing. We're going to start diving into that as well. And releasing my final 2023 NFL power rankings of the season. Where do the Raiders land? Spoiler alert, not last. But we out. See you guys tomorrow.